Hi everyone. So it's a new day. I filmed the first 3 on a different date. I just ran out of time. So, and I'm not turning on every single light on my lamp because it'll be too hot. Anyway, on with the video. So this is a fanfic based on the show Violetta. This is part 4 of 4 of That's Your Natural Hair Color? So, I hope you enjoy. Putting the paper clip at the back, so when you see the paper clip again, the story is almost done. Alright, back to the story now. Cammy explains, my previous personality was... Back then, I used to be a bit of a smart aleck. And I used to brag about how smart I am. Oh, that's right, because she's, like, super good with numbers. I completely forgot. And I used to brag about how smart I am. I was a know-it-all, till Fran pointed it out and humbled me. And that's how we met. And I appreciated the fact that she was able to tell me the brutal truth. And shortly after, we became friends. Fran says, well, someone needed to tell you. Cammy informs, and I'm glad you did, because it was just the thing I needed. And she says, okay, sorry, but I have to move things along. We could talk more about that later. Fran, it's your turn. Fran says, as you can see, I'm wearing dancer tights and an active wear tank top with my hair in a tight bun. I'm sorry, I just see that. I could see that with Fran. And point shoes. That's because before I came here, I was a ballet student. Sometimes I've noticed that, and I'll bring it up later, but there are 2 words that sound very similar when I pronounce them. So I'm saying ballet as in like ballerina. Anyway, that's because before I came here, I was at a ballet school, but had to quit when my parents had to move back to Italy for work. I wanted to stay here, since I wanted to stay here with my brother. Since I wanted to stay here, my brother offered to take me in, because I feel like she's living with her brother, right? Is that, or am I misinterpreting that? Was I misinterpreting that in the first season? I don't know. But it's giving, Spencer Carly vibes a little bit. Luca and Fran. Anyway. Soon after, Luca realized he couldn't afford the tuition for my ballet school, since he was too ashamed to say anything with actual words. Now, he's terrible at masking his emotions. Amelia regrets revealing that. And that stays between us. Reveals he also wanted to prove he could take care of me all on his own. So asking our parents for extra money was out of the question. I decided to research more about performing arts schools that were more friendly to his budget. And when I came across this place, I lied and said I'm not into ballet anymore. However, I still wanted something in the performing arts field. So this was the perfect option for us financially. So I applied and got in, and I'm glad I did. It seems like I could see Francesca being a ballet dancer. Am I the only one? I could see her being previously a ballet dancer because she's good at dance class. So, maybe she has background in ballet. And that would make sense. So, anyway, Andre says, that's why it's easy for you to pick up the steps, because you were previously a ballet dancer. Side note, sometimes when I pronounce ballet and belly, Like, they sound similar. I found that when I try and pronounce them, they sound similar. I am saying, side note, belly and ballet dancer, when I pronounce them, sound alike. Sound a lot alike. So I hope you're not hearing belly dancer. That's not what I'm saying. When I'm actually saying ballet dancer, I hope I'm spelling everything right. But just so you know, I'm aware that the pronunciation is similar when I say those words. So, back to the story now. So I'm saying ballet as in, like a ballerina. Yeah, like a ballerina. I'm saying ballet as in ballerina and not another word. That would make this a completely different, for a completely different viewer. Alright, anyway. Fran confirms, yes, that's why. Now, back then, my personality was as follows. Due to my dancer background, I was a bit of a perfectionist, and I'd often get in my own head about it. Everything I made having to be perfect all the time. What I didn't know was when I started here, was that the friends I'd surrounded myself with would help me get out of that negative side of perfectionism. The negative side of perfectionism, mind space I was in. And was also a big goody two-shoes back then. I could see that too. Which I still sort of am, but I'm not as intense about it as I used to be. Yes, I'm still a goody two-shoes, but now I know more about my limits to that. Still goody two-shoes and still a perfectionist. To clarify, I used to think everything in the book was right, but now I realize sometimes the book can be wrong. Like when I look at old laws and new laws that contradict each other. I hope I spelled that right. Or a law that changed because people have evolved since it was written. Hopefully that helps describe my point, says Fran. Everyone accepts it does. Fran says, good. I just realized we all described our outfits, why we chose them, and our previous personalities. But Angie, you never did. Angie says, oh my gosh, I completely forgot. Since my main focus was telling Vilu I'm her aunt. Thank you for holding me accountable, Fran. I needed that. So, I'm referencing 6-year-old me. And at the time, I wanted to be just like my sister because I looked up to her. So, I'd often find clothes that looked like hers so we could match. However, in the reference image I chose, my mom had picked out an outfit. So I had two options. One, dress how I used to dress, or two, how my mom would dress me. So I obviously chose how my mother used to dress me back then. And to make it more authentic, she picked out what I'm wearing based on the reference I gave her. So like they kind of video chatted behind the scenes, and Angelica helped pick out an outfit that kind of referenced 6-year-old Angelist, but appropriate, kind of thing for her age. That's kind of what I was saying there. So obviously I chose how my mother used to dress me back then. And to make it more authentic, she picked out what I'm wearing based on the reference I gave her. That's why I styled my hair, styled my wig with pigtails, and why I wore, pointing to the article of clothing, a white short sleeve church shirt kind of thing, and to replace the bow, I found this necklace with a red bow pendant on it. Then, on the bottom, I have black tights with a plaid skirt over top. The only thing I changed was where the ribbon bow was the ribbon bow, because it was a bit childish. And the tights were because the longest skirt I could find is because this is the longest skirt I could find, and it's not long enough for work. Now, for my personality back then, what can I say? I was 6. Therefore, I was brutally honest with everyone. Also, I was also very active and super talkative to the point of often oversharing. Which I think would be funny if, like, previous Angelus was, like, so talkative, oversharing, and then present day has a hard time telling the truth. You know? Maybe she tried to get out of the oversharing bad habit she had and kind of overcorrected. So it sounded like when you were trying to even out your brutal honesty, says Violetta, you overcorrected and ended up becoming a liar. Oh my gosh, I don't know where that came from. Realizes. Angie says, I'm gonna let it pass since I have been lying to you. Maybe it came from the fact that you haven't come to full acceptance of the news you heard today. So Angie's being, like, very accepting of that. Violetta realizes, oh my gosh, you're so right. That's exactly what it is. Guess I needed more time to accept it than I thought. And that's okay, says Angie. Violetta says appreciative. Thank you for being so accepting of this. Angie tells nicely, no problem. Now, let's get back on topic. There is a reason I got you to talk about your previous fashions and personalities as a kid, since your next assignment is to write a song dedicated to your younger self. And it must include the following things. 1. At least one thing you'd tell your younger self if you had the chance. 2. Words of wisdom that your younger self would have benefited from hearing. And your last requirement, 3. Give yourself an apology for a bad habit you had, or assure them of a struggle you were able to overcome. So just do that kind of with a song. And how you did that. And how you did that. Like, how you overcame that. Everything else is up to you. Maxie says, what if you're not a songwriter? Angie explains, first, just do your best. And second, as you make drafts, get your friends whom are songwriters feedback on it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Just show that you've referenced your previous era of your life. You've reflected on that previous era of your life. Maxie says understandingly, okay, sounds good. Side note, sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not writing each of their songs for 2 reasons. 1, I'm not a songwriter and don't know that much about creating music. And 2, this story is long enough as it is, and I still have more story planned. So now we're going to go back to the story. There's more to it planned. So if you are a songwriter, maybe you can comment what you think their songs would be, which are, like, reflecting on their previous self. Alright, anyway. 5 minutes of everyone chatting about their backstories later. It's time for a class change. It's now time for a class change. In the middle of the foyer, so, like, that's like a lobby area if you don't know. It's like a lobby, it's equivalent to a lobby area. So while Angie's walking to the Zoom to thank Pablo for having her back earlier, Beto sees Angie and doesn't recognize her from the back with the costume on. Gregorio taps Beto's shoulder. Who are you staring at? Beto reveals, the new teacher over there. Do you know her name? Gregorio's shocked. Wait, do you have a crush on her? Beto covering. Maybe? What's her name? Gregorio asks. You know the lead singer Maria? Yeah, why? because that's Angelist, her younger sister. She's also Violetta's aunt and tutor. Fully aware of what he's doing, suggests, you should ask her out. Beto points out nervously, but we don't even know each other. Gregorio says nudgingly, then get to know her. Gregorio then pushes Beto towards Angelist while he stays still. Kind of like I think Beto's like kind of unsure, so like Gregorio's pushing him to kind of, you know, put him in the right direction in a sense, and then it's just, now ask her. Angie turns around. Ask me what? Beto mumbles, no, I'm too nervous. Gregorio says straight to the point, getting straight to the point. He wants to ask you out, but he's too nervous. Angela's worried about hurting his feelings. I forgot an R in hurt. That's not a great marker. Alright. Angelist, who is worried about hurting his feelings, says, well, this is awkward. Beto, put your glasses on, strongly suggests. I think he might have taken them off to try and impress her or something, maybe. So, Beto, put your glasses on. Beto follows her instructions. Ah, Angie, I didn't recognize you with brown hair. My bad. How embarrassing. Can you please forget about what Gregorio said about me crushing on you? I didn't know you were, well, you at the time. I'm so sorry, says Beto. Angie keeping him calm. It's okay, Beto, really. Beto wonders, so Gregorio mentioned that you're Angelist and are Violetta's aunt. Does she know? Violetta had been eavesdropping and comes up to the three teachers mad. Well, I do now. You've been my aunt this whole time? Why is it just now that I'm hearing about this? I can't believe you lied to me. Angie, I'm ashamed of you. Beto worriedly. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. Honestly. Angie, disappointed tone of voice. Vilu, quit messing with him. Beto, shocked. So you already knew. Violetta says, yeah, I was method acting as my younger self. Back then, I'd often have no one to mess with since I have no siblings. I would often mess with my nannies or tutors. So you filled that role today. Sorry, but I couldn't resist. I think that would be hilarious. I'm sorry, but it would be hilarious. Alright, anyway. So you filled that role today. Sorry, but I couldn't resist. Beto says, accepting. That's alright. At least you apologized. Violetta explains, okay, now I gotta get to my next class. See you guys later. Angie thanks Pablo for the backup earlier in the day. Currently, back at home, Jade and Matthias are patiently waiting for Herman to have a free moment to talk. 5 minutes later, Herman leaves his study. Herman, did Maria have any siblings? Herman explains, no, why? Matthias reveals, because Angie had Angelist filling in for her today with Violetta. Angelist is with Violetta today? Wordly intense, says Herman. Matthias, surprised, says, so she is Maria's sister. Based on that reaction. Herman explains, I had no idea that she was here or that she knew Angie. This is not gonna be good. Vilu is gonna find out I've been lying to her for her entire life. Not good. Panicky repeats. Starts hyperventilating. Olga had been eavesdropping. You could have avoided all this by telling her the truth from the beginning. Herman, mad peeve, says, "Butt out, Olga. I didn't ask for your opinion." Olga is upset. "That was rude." Romulo tells, "Chill out, bro. Future Angelist is awesome." Herman, shocked and annoyed. "You've met her recently?" "Yeah, I have," says Romulo. "And you should give her a chance to meet her niece. She's a good person." Herman, mad. "I'll think about it," Romulo says happily. "Okay, good." Then 2 hours later, the girls get home, still in their costumes. They've just walked through the front door, surprised to see Herman, Jade, Matthias, Olga, and Romulo all waiting for them on the couch. Or all waiting on the couch for them. Herman says, shocked, "Angie, I've never seen you with brown hair. What's with the costume?" Angie explains, "First, this is my natural hair color, and you have seen me with brown hair before. And second, the costume is because it's Halloween." Duh. Herman wonders, "Since when have I seen you with brown hair?" Angie reveals, "Since I was 13 and babysat Violetta." Herman, confused, "Then why don't I remember you babysitting Violetta?" Jade reveals, "Because that's not Angie, it's Angelist." Herman, annoyed with himself, "Oh my gosh, how'd I not see it before? Your real name is Angelist, isn't it?" Angie reveals, "Yes, it is," confesses as she removes the wig. "I was dressing as my younger self for Halloween." Matthias, annoyed, says, bragging, "I knew you looked familiar." Angie admits, "Yeah, you had me worried for a minute there that you had figured it out. I was so thankful you didn't." Olga, surprised, "I can't believe you're Angelist after all this time. Can I hug you?" Angie says happily, "Of course." The two hug. 10 seconds later, they break from the hug. Violetta points out, "So, that's why Romulo wanted to hug you when he found out earlier today, isn't it?" Olga, offended, "Romulo? You knew and didn't tell me?" Herman reminds, "Or me. You knew Angie was my sister-in-law and didn't say anything?" Romulo explains, "Olga, I didn't tell you because it couldn't get back to Herman. And I didn't tell Herman because I didn't want him to force Violetta to move again. Also, I didn't want Herman to forbid Violetta from seeing Angie. So, sorry to the both of you." Alright. Violetta requests, "Dad, please don't take me away from my aunt. She's the only one who will keep the memory of my mom alive, with stories about her that you won't tell me. I finally have a chance to grow my relationship with my aunt. Please, don't take me away from her." Herman agrees, all right. I won't take you away from her. But right now, I need a few minutes alone to sort through my thoughts before I do that. I'm sorry I lied to you, Violetta." Violetta tells, "I accept your apology." So the liars apologize for their lies and are forgiven. The songs are written and performed. And the performance of songs goes well. All who participated in the Halloween activity enjoy the deep dive conversations about their past, and it deepens their friendships. Now they all have things they can work on, Everyone's happy. There's no more secrets between them. The end of That's Your Natural Hair Color. Okay, so side note, before I completely end this, I thought Angie's hair was more blonde when I titled this fanfic. Then I watched a few episodes and realized it's more of a dirty blonde, and I thought it was a brighter blonde than it actually was. Oops, my bad. I'll apologize for that. And so that is it for, that's your natural hair color. So I hope you enjoyed this story. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and have a fantastic day. I hope you enjoyed me trying to give these characters some more backstory based on their previous fashions that they chose. Okay. Nope. Right. Nope. Alright. Because I want to put this all back together here. Alright. So, and also, if you disagree with the previous fashions I chose for these characters, what do you think their previous fashions would have been if you were picking? And what their previous personalities would have been if you were picking. Now, I only ended up watching this show as a young adult off of Disney Plus. I don't remember ever seeing advertisements for it when it was originally coming out. And I don't know if when it did originally come out, if there was an English dub of it at the time, or if that was just a new thing that they did. I don't know how long the English dub existed for. So I did not watch this as a kid. I only watched it as an adult. But it's one of my current favorite show obsessions, and one of the ones that I like to rewatch. There are a lot of episodes, so sometimes I miss certain things. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this story. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching.